This weekend is peak fall color here along the parkway. And unfortunately, the battery in the microphone that I had attached to the camera died on me. So this hike video recorded without any sound on it. So I'm trying to do a narration here after the fact while I'm editing the video. And I hope that I still remember what I was going to say with all of these little video segments that I recorded. And we'll get to look at a lot of the fall colors that were up in mid-October here. So I went along the parkway this week to look at some of the colors, and the area around Grandfather Mountain is really great this weekend. You can see a lot of the fall colors here along the parkway too. And yes, we're getting some wind. You can see the leaves are starting to blow off the trees. So peak fall color won't last for much longer. So along the edge of the woods here, we'll see a lot of yellows on these trees. And every now and then you'll see some red among these. So that's either Virginia creeper or poison ivy going up on these trees. And they turn bright red in color. So this looks like it's Virginia creeper here, 5 leaflets. At the beginning of the trail here with all the pine trees, we see a lot of needles on the ground as well. So the pine needles are evergreen, but they only last a couple of years, and then the trees will throw off the oldest set of needles, and they accumulate on the bottom of the forest floor. The dewberries here in this area are getting covered with these needles and fallen leaves right now. We're seeing some yellowing on the wood fern here as well. And of course we have the wintergreen fern, which is the Christmas fern here. So these leaves will stay bright green through the winter, and then they eventually wither and die next summer. So as the leaves are dropping off the trees here, we get a better view of the parkway down here. So with the leaves gone, you actually have great views into the landscape through the winter. We still have some of the last fall bloomers. So here we have white snake root still in bloom. And the wood asters are still blooming here as well. So with these, you want to take a look at the leaves to identify the species. The yellow crownbeard here is also still blooming. You can see those yellow flowers, opposite leaves. Some of these are starting to go to seed now. And the horsebum here is pretty much done. So those have completely gone to seed. I don't see any flowers on them anymore. So you can see the seed capsules developing, and then when they're ripening, they're turning brown. We've got fruits on the greenbrier now. So this is one of the smilax vines here. See these clusters of blue berries on these. And here's another one of these wood asters. So again, taking a look at the leaves. These look quite different from the other one that we've seen. This is also a taller plant compared to the white wood aster. So this is the blue wood aster that's blooming along the trail here. The goldenrod is still going as well. So this is some of the woodland goldenrod still in bloom along the trail. And yeah, we're getting a lot of leaves on the ground now. So one thing you can do at this time of the year is look at the leaves to figure out what the trees are that are above. So here we have a characteristic large leaf that looks like magnolia, specifically Fraser magnolia. You see the little ears at the base of the leaf. And if we look up into the trees here, there's the tree. So you see those leaves that are still up on the tree there. And they have the characteristic lobes at the base, which identifies them as Fraser magnolia or mountain magnolia. These turn yellow and then sometimes brown before they drop. And here we've got another yellow leaf. This is a maple. This looks like striped maple leaves. And here's the tree. So yeah, these are understory trees. You see them a lot along this trail. Here we have a large heart-shaped leaf that actually is attached to a vine. So this is pipe vine, and it's turning yellow too. A lot of yellows along the trail here this time of the year. Another yellow, and we've seen these before, these are the characteristic leaves of tulip tree. You see they have this shape where it looks almost like the tip of the leaf has been cut off. And if we look into the trees here, there's the tree. These grow very tall and usually very straight up. So you have to look quite a bit up into the canopy to see the leaves up there. Yeah, that's the tulip tree. And again, it's one of the trees that turns yellow. Actually, a lot of years you don't see these coloring up very much at all. Often the leaves just dry and fall off the tree before they develop a lot of color. This year has been great for them. Then we've got these composite leaves here. So that looks like a hickory. Here's another one. Very large leaves. And these have what is called a pinnately compound arrangement of leaflets. And if we look into the trees here, there's our hickories. And again, they turn yellow. And you can see a lot of these leaves still on the trees here along this trail. But a lot of them are now also dropping down to the ground. Now there are several hickories in this area that you can find, so I'm not sure of the exact species here. The sun really makes these leaves shine brightly along the trail here today. You may have heard the phrase golden October. I guess this is why everything looks gold along the trail here today. In this area here, we're seeing a lot more maple leaves on the ground. So in this case, we're looking at sugar maple. So you can see the margins of these leaves are smooth. They're not finely toothed. And these leaves turn all sorts of colors, yellow, orange, red. They have really great colors, but usually more in the yellow range. And then we've got the red maples. You see the margins on this is more toothed compared to the sugar maple. And of course these leaves turn red, as the name would suggest. And looking up, there's the maple trees. Here we've got beech leaves that have fallen off the trees. So these add another golden color to the forest. And then we've got the oaks. So these are red oaks. You can identify these by the pointy lobes. A lot of these will turn brown and then fall off the tree. Here you've got another one. Sometimes you'll see them red on the trees, but the ones on the ground here are all brown. And then we also have some white oaks in this area. So you see the lobes on these are rounded compared to the pointy ones. Lots of nice fall colors developing here on the trees along this trail. The obligatory view into the landscape here. And yeah, you see some nice colors closer to the parkway, also on those distant hills over there. The trees in the valleys look still mostly green, so the fall colors from up here will eventually creep down into the valleys. This is a very busy time of the year on the parkway. You see a lot of traffic going up to the parkway there. This is peak fall color weekend, and then the leaves are going to drop down. We have a lot of them on the trail here already. A couple more flowers here in this clearing. So this is that false sunflower that we've seen before. Some of the blue wood aster in bloom here. Then we've got a lot of seeds This is the Virginia jump seed. And then we also have evidence here of the freezing nights. So the jewel wheat here is already dying back, so they cannot withstand the freezes. Same here for the nettles. The wood nettles also die back after the first freezing nights. We still have some fruits on this one here. So that tells us, yes, this is one of the nettles. And we still have quite a few of the bright red fruits now on the spice bush. So these spice bush trees along the trail here are really showing off their colors. And the birds are all over them, picking off the fruits. This one they have pretty much already picked clean. I don't see any fruits on this one anymore. So here we are at the northern end of our trail section, just looking across the parkway there at some of these fall colors. And now the sourwood is really showing its red color nicely. I've seen these red along other stretches of the parkway before while this was still green, but now the leaves are turning here as well. You still see the fruits up there, so that's definitely a sourwood tree. You see how nice red the leaves are getting. And right here at the entrance to the trail we have another one of those hickories. See the compound leaves on this. And then just some views here of the fall colors along this section of the parkway. And then we've got that chocolate brown color on the leaves on this tree right there. That's a magnolia. I told you they turn yellow and then eventually brown before the leaves drop off the trees. So if we take a closer look at that, here in the grass we see those brown magnolia leaves. And a couple more flowers here. So we've got the pink smartweed or knotweed, and then those little daisy looking flowers there, they're called shaggy soldiers or Peruvian daisies. So those unfortunately are invasive along the parkway here. Lots of that Asian smartweed here. So yeah, we've got a couple of invasives taking over this meadow. There's some red clover in here as well, providing some late season nectar. The cutleaf coneflowers are pretty much done. I only see seed heads on these. There are no more flowers left on these. So yeah, that's it for this hike. Peak fall color season along the parkway. I'll probably come back again in 2 weeks to check it out one more time. But with the temperatures at night now, all the plants are pretty much shutting down for the winter. The leaves are dropping off the trees. So I think we're really at the end of the growing season here along this trail section now.